This episode of Breaking Down the Ring is brought to you by Chawla Legal Group Estate Planning. Estate planning is for everyone. Whether you're worth $4,000 or $40 million, estate planning can help protect you, your family, and your assets while you're alive and well. Damn. To register for an upcoming workshop today, go to chawlalegal.com/workshops or call 586-273-7157. Again, that's chawlalegal.com/workshops or call 586-273-7157.
What the Rock is cooking.
You're listening to the Podcast Detroit Network. Visit www.podcastdetroit.com for more information.
Ladies and gentlemen, we took a week off. We needed to. We had a lot of stuff to get together. And then we came back. Why? Why did we come back? Because we're going to StarCast, bitches. We're going to hear more about our fucking huge-ass announcement. We're going to talk about all of the things that went on in the last 2 weeks. Like, AEW announced the day they're showing up on TNT. Raw had a reunion where Stone Cold Steve Austin drank a lot of beer in the center of the ring at the end of it. Plus, there's a bunch of SummerSlam buildup. We're going to get into all that and more this week as we
break the ring down.
You don't know what hard times are, Daddy.
The cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. You just made the list. This right here is a family.
Hey, this is professional wrestler and professional podcaster Colt Boom Boom Cabana.
My name is Killer Cross.
This is The Smoke Show, Scarlett Bordeaux.
What's up, guys? The After Machine, Brian Cage.
This is Ryan from Pro Wrestling Tees.
Sadly, you are not listening to The Art of Wrestling, but you made a decent choice because you're listening.
You are now listening to...
When you're listening...
And you're listening to...
You listen to Breaking Down the Ring.
Breaking Down the Ring.
Breaking Down the Ring.
Breaking Down the Ring.
Breaking Down the Ring. Break it down.
Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to the most inappropriate pro wrestling show in the motherfucking world. You're listening to Breaking Down the Ring. We are your ring crew.
Smitty.
Nick Hogan.
Whole effing Joe.
The return of the whole effing Joe. And me, the almighty one, Mikey himself. Z is on the way, allegedly, according to his chat. Awesome. We got a fucking huge show for you this week, man. Obviously, we took 2 weeks off. Oh, sorry, we took a week off, so it's been 2 weeks since we've been back on the fucking air. I don't know why it fucking came up as Evolve 131 on Periscope. Like, that's weird. Is anyone? Is it
you know, I now that you mentioned that,
Yeah,
it came up on mine too, and I just didn't even click it until you just said that. I was like, oh, wow.
But it's updated for the stream title.
See, now you know my pain.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, whatever. It's your fault. So it's not. I'm gonna fucking edit it right now as we're fucking doing it. Like, that's fucking crazy to me. It's gonna be what it's supposed to say: AEW on TNT and SummerSlam build-up. We got a lot to fucking discuss. But first things first, boys, we got announced for StarCast.
Whoop whoop.
Yeah.
So I'll be very fucking honest about how this happened. We put in the application process. So it's like any convention, right? You put in an application for it, you fill out and then you're let be known if you're accepted, and then you pay your bill. You know, that's just how it works. Well, I hadn't heard anything from him, and they're announcing all these fucking vendors. And I was getting worried, so I messaged Daniel from Pro Wrestling Scorecards because I remember that he said that he was, on their ass kind of. And I was like, all right, sweet. How did you fucking get this going? And he was like, well, I bugged the fuck out of him. And I was like, all right, cool. So I sent him an email that night, and then I DM'd him on Twitter the next day. I was like, hey, I understand how you guys have so many people hitting you up. I just want to point out that we hit you up 2 days after this information went out. It was like the next day or something. I didn't send any money because nobody said to send money. It just said, if you're paying by PayPal, this is what you do. I said, I don't want to miss out on a great opportunity for our show. I had fun when I was at StarCast last time in Vegas. I can't just want to love it. So fucking StarCast DM'd us right back. And they said, hey, appreciate the concern. Just talked with Connor. And
Conrad,
sorry. Why did I say Connor? I was thinking Walt's kid. Sorry. Just talked to Conrad. Like, even just said it. I was like, wait, Connor? What? Just talked to Conrad, and he said you fucker guys are in. And he didn't say fucking guys, but I was like, whatever. I was like, what, really? He goes, yeah. I said, sweet. So, fucking hit him back, sent the fucking money in, and they fucking announced us 24 hours later. And I was so fucking excited, so fucking happy. You know, Nick sent a group message. He was like, Mikey, the DMs. I was like, yeah, so a big deal.
But in reality, you were like crying, like on the other end of the phone.
I was when it was really the after the second one where he was like, yeah, just do this and you guys are in. And I was like, holy fuck, right? Because you could tell me I'm in all you want.
It's all happening.
You know. And then the announcement, I was at work and I just said, guys, gotta walk away for 5. And they're like, why? And I said, because I gotta fucking make all these posts.
I remember him just coming back. Like he was like, I just come out. He said, Smitty, we're in. And I just walked back in the kitchen and go. I was just stunned. Like I didn't know how to react exactly.
And it's awesome, man, because let's be very honest. It's not just something that's huge for AEW and StarCast going on in Chicago. You know, obviously with CM Punk being there and things like that. But it's something that's big for the people that show up there, even the little small ones. Like I was watching when I was in Vegas, the Lapel guys, or Pin guys. Fucking great guys. I was talking to them, you know, and they just little corner of the fucking area, and they got it to work, you know, and it was. So I'm looking forward to this just for obviously to put our name out there a little bit more, but you meet so many fucking awesome people, you know, people that are in the industry. The Smack Talk Super Showdown game guys, which we're going to play before we go to StarCast. Let it be known, this a month of August, probably the show after SummerSlam, maybe the one, probably after SummerSlam, just because, you know, we have so much buildup. Which SummerSlam we will be having at Buffalo Wild Wings in downtown Detroit. We will get into that. Nick, you saw those messages. You saw the announcement. What was your thought process, man, when you saw it? Obviously, being the newest member of our show.
My initial thought was, oh, shit. And I said that out loud at my desk at work, even though I'm not supposed to be looking at my phone, but I looked at my phone. And it wasn't loud, but I was, like, shocked. And then immediately I was like, I gotta fucking, what, you know.
Twitter fingers.
Yeah, I was excited. It's an awesome step for the show, man. I mean, it really is.
You obviously saw the message and everything. Now, what about the post? When the post, did it hit you harder with the post, or did it hit you with the DM?
The DM, yeah, but the post really cemented it. You know, it really made it
real.
It made it real. Yep. And then I was like, I'm fucking posting this shit here, there. I'm going on fucking Pinterest. I mean, I really didn't, but
why not?
What?
We're cool enough for Pinterest.
All right, let me do that real quick.
God damn it, man. Joe, you've taken some time away for good reasons. You know what I'm saying? And I'm really happy that, you know, things are getting better and everything, so where you're able to come back. Because, dude, let's be very honest, we miss you on this fucking show.
Well, thanks, man.
You're fucking great.
Especially
I miss you guys too.
So
Can't live life without my tag team partner. You know?
So you're watching all of this stuff go down. Like, obviously, you're dealing with real life situations and everything, but you're still seeing all the little.
I'm still tuned
stuff.
in.
Yeah. You see the DM, you hear about the DM, and then you see the fucking post and everything. And what are your thoughts flying through your head?
It took a second for like the magnitude of it all to kind of sink in, because you know, I remember being with this show on show number 1, you know, in a little box in a little square building, you know. Right. And now look how far we've come. You know, we've done Comic Cons, you know, we've hosted a wrestling event actually. But when this happened, and yeah, I mean, like you said, when they did the tweet announcing us, I mean, I'm not a social media guy, as you guys know, but I still realized what that meant. I mean, I had to show my girlfriend. I was like, holy shit. I was like, do you realize what an accomplishment this is for this show? You know, this is huge for us. And honestly, I felt like since I hadn't been here the previous few weeks that I didn't have much of anything to do with it. So I was super happy for you guys, especially you, Mikey. I know how much this means to you. But even me, like just being, like I just said, not being much of a social media guy, even same thing with you guys. Like even I, like when I saw this shit, I was like, fuck, man. I got on my Twitter, like my Facebook, and like just retweeting. And,
that meme you posted. Great Scott.
And sharing it, like, I don't normally do stuff like that, but like this was, to me, it was huge. So of course, like I was like just pushing this everywhere that I could. So yeah, it's huge, man.
I guess it was definitely different for me because obviously you guys are seeing things that are popping up, and I'm like, and I guess like Nick was like, I was just honestly expecting a little bit more emotion. It's like, but I was really worried. Like, and I even threw a tweet out there like a couple days before. I was like, man, all these people are fucking posting shit, and they're announcing all these people. There's only 50 fucking spots in the collector's corner where they're putting people, right? So I'm looking at this going 50 spots, and I'm looking, there, them, him, them, her, them. And I'm like, dude, this is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And my thought process at the same time is, look, I'm happy how much we've blossomed as a show. But at the same time, it's not the most influential social media wise, right? You know, we've got, our 1,200 followers on Twitter. We've got our 1,400 people on Facebook, just under 200 on Instagram and things like that. So we're not like what people consider influencers on the social media spectrum of putting stuff out there. We're not, if you looked right at us right now and you say, oh, they have a little over 600 subscribers, all these, what was it, 1,700 some download? No, it's more than that now. 1,500 episode 100. It's just either way, it was still, I think that almost doubled. So I think it was almost 3,000 weekly listens. Like that's not to us. We're like, holy fuck, we got 3,000 fucking people are fucking downloading our shit or listening a week. 600 people are fucking subscribed. That's great because we know what we've built from. But if you're looking at it from their point of view, they're like, I don't know.
We're small fish.
Yeah. Right. But I'm still willing to spend money because you know what? You got to spend money to make money, right? We got our first sponsor just a couple months ago. Now we're going to fucking StarCast,
Nigga, we made it.
So I'm looking at this going, look, what I want from this is to get everybody's face on the map and even Nick's hand. Okay. But that's
goals.
That's
Hashtag goals.
Squad goals.
That's what it is. From everything that I have seen is, Joe, you're saying that you haven't been here, so you don't feel like you're a major thing, but you're saying that I've done. I could not. If this was a one-person show, I don't think I'd have anywhere near the following that we have, right? I don't think that I could put on enough of an effort into where people are like, yeah, 1,200 Twitter followers, sure. Oh, 1,400 Facebook, 600 subscribers. No, I couldn't do that. Why couldn't I do that? Because it takes a piece from everyone. Everyone who's ever had a foot on this show, a voice, an opinion, Orlando Christopher, Callie, Z, you three, anybody who's ever been involved in this show, it's an equal fucking effort. And I fucking am so excited for what we're about to do because I do agree that this is, everything else was a buildup. Everything was prep, and this is our launch, I think. And it's taken a little over 3 years, but God, thank God. My only problem with it is it's in Chicago. Fuck Chicago. No.
I agree with that.
Detroit, what, bitch?
That's right.
Fuck you, Blackhawks.
I will.
There's your explanation.
Fuck the Bears.
I will say this. I'll basically repeat what I said in the chat, though. I still believe that most of the credit goes to you. And like I said also in the chat, you're not going to hear me put you over many times. So this is going to be one of the few, if only. So you're the showrunner. You've made all the contacts downtown with the events we put on. You headed up our social media. You know, you keep this show in a flowing direction when Smitty and or myself get off in some stupid sidecast. You know, you are the one holding the reins on this show, and you keep it flowing in the direction it should be. So I still believe that you deserve the most credit on this one. Your persistence and just everything that you do for this show.
Well,
we all know how hard you work on this, so take a little credit.
fine. I'll shut up. That being said, we got a lot brand new flyers, new business cards. We get a brand. You guys, look, man. Everyone has seen the Ring Crew Championship for a long time. As a matter of fact, there was a girl that saw it with Smitty's dick around it, and and so the new championship will be debuting, hopefully at StarCast. If you guys have heard of Z-Bros belts, go check them out. We're gonna put that over even more. This fucking belt looks gorgeous. They're
gonna have it in time.
He said it usually takes about 6 weeks. I said, hey, if you can't, that's fine. And then he went ahead with it because I was like, oh, so we're really hoping that I should get it like the couple days before.
So you're basically like, hey, man, we really want this thing for StarCast. And he was like, all right, man, I'll get it done.
He said 6 weeks, and I said, dude, I didn't want to jump on a brand new belt until I heard from StarCast, and they just let us know Saturday, it's Monday, maybe. And then he didn't say no. You know,
awesome.
You might know him, actually, Joe. He's friends with Paulie. Marcus. No,
I don't know. Maybe I'd have to hunt him down on social
As a matter
media
of
or
fact,
something.
Orlando Christopher got that title belt that he made from him. So, yeah, it's crazy. But let's. Daniel said, "Don't make my head any bigger than it already is." There's a reason I have the single screen. No, I'm just kidding. It's just because it's the only one facing this way. So, that being said, there has been a lot of other fucking shit that's happened over the last 2 weeks. AEW made their official announcement as to when they're debuting on TNT. Raw had a reunion show. A lot of stuff was set up on SmackDown Raw from SmackDown from that last week. Raw this and SmackDown this week to build up for the SummerSlam, including matches that no one really kind of saw coming. I don't even...
One of them kind of I did see coming after last week's SmackDown.
Okay.
I think I know what one you're talking about, but we'll get to that.
But yeah, so let's kick it off with the AEW stuff. Obviously, StarCast is built around AEW's All Out pay-per-view happening in Chicago. So that after the All Out pay-per-view, AEW goes to TNT October 2nd, which is a Wednesday. And everyone was kind of surprised by this because they had already taken out the trademark for Tuesday Night Dynamite. So I don't believe they've made an announcement as to what the name of their weekly show is.
So. No, they just have.
But they have made announcements as to matches that are going on this weekly show, including the first match announced: Cody, Don't Call Me Rhodes versus Sammy Guevara. How do you, Joe? You are obviously our most. Man, I can't even think of the fucking word. You know more about the indie shit. I couldn't even fucking seasoned indie wrestling fan.
Okay,
there as well. You're seeing this is going on. You're seeing this is starting. They announced Cody Rhodes versus Sammy Guevara. Are you okay with them announcing matches right now, even before All Out, or would you have wanted them to see? Okay, here's All Out. This is what's leading into our first show.
That's a good question. I mean, I'm okay with them announcing a couple matches, especially because the second match they announced still has some mystery and intrigue surrounding it.
The Jericho.
Right. So I would not like it if they just announced the whole card from top to bottom, especially doing that before All Out. So, yeah, I'm okay with a couple matches, but I do want to see something come from All Out that leads into that show, for sure. I mean, of course you would want to see that, wouldn't you?
Right. So my then question becomes, like, so if you're already you made the announcement, Jericho and two mystery partners, it was Kenny Omega
and the Bucks.
So Jericho, in my honest fucking opinion, should be the AEW heavyweight champion. To
I disagree.
That's fine. But and I feel like you set that up and you move him in. This kind of makes me think that he's not going to be the champion by announcing him into a triple threat tag match, a six-man tag match on the first episode, because normally you would want to, feature your champion in something else. I mean, obviously it's also probably going to be the main event of the fucking show. It is your top fucking guys. You got
4 of your top guys.
So,
you got 4 of your top guys already.
And it just seems to me like you're already kind of burying the lead. Sure, I'm okay. Cody and Sammy Guevara, fine. What parts are they really playing in anything right now, right? The Young Bucks are supposedly one of your highest up tag teams, okay? And they should probably be in this tag team tournament that's kicking off on your first ever weekly episode, but they're not, as it stands. Kenny Omega, sure, he's coming off of Moxley and everything. There's really nothing going on with him. But Jericho, unless he loses, there's really nothing going on with him either. And so I just feel like...
See, that's where I disagree. Well, if he loses, they could continue something going on. They can continue the program with him and Paige.
Right, but what I'm saying is if they're not, you're putting him in this fucking 6-man tag match, against with it's probably with fucking Lucha Bros. Right. I mean, I would love it to be I would love it to be Dark Order. I think him putting Dark Order over would be great. Mm-hmm. But again, it's just, to me, it's like you have this television show that you can make a couple announcements for. And, we're also going to display the belts. But that's October 2nd, and that is officially a month after All Out. And Nick, is there anything were you really guys are announcing more than one match? Because again, I'm not even arguing the Cody Sammy match announcement. I'm like, oh, cool, that's a match, and then we'll see what other fallout from All Out. Sorry.
That could be a show.
Hashtag fallout from All Out.
That's what we'll call our follow-up show.
Yeah, the fallout from All Out.
There we go. I just titled our show.
God damn right.
See, I do contribute. God damn it.
And we're gonna be doing that on Sunday.
Thank God you're back.
Thank you. I've missed you. So, Nick, this is being led up and dealt with. What are your thoughts on the announcement of matches? Do you think they're already kind of burying the lead, or are you happy with this because it's going to get you to want to tune in even more, even though we're still 2 months out from AEW on TNT on Wednesday?
The only match I knew about up until an hour ago was the Cody and Sammy Guevara match. Smitty told me before the show about the Kenny Omega and Young Bucks versus Jericho and some mystery partners, but I kind of agree with both of you guys. I mean, I think that announcing only a couple matches, that's cool. Having other storylines after All Out going into the show would be the best case scenario. But yeah, I mean, it really makes you think about what they're going to do with Jericho. I did feel like he was going to win it All Out, but yeah, now
I don't think he should.
Now, not so much. So
because it kills Paige. What's Paige going to do after that if Jericho wins? If Paige wins, Jericho he could pull some heel shit, jump him, or, attack him the next night. Or, you know what I mean? But if Paige loses, man, he's just a beaten dog with, nowhere to go. And especially when he called his shot like Babe Ruth and then didn't come through, that's going to make him look really bad.
When it comes to that match,
we'll get into that match. We're talking about the announcing of matches right now. So, Nick,
I think that they should keep it right where it's at. If you want to announce one more match, cool, but you have to have that build up after All Out. You have to have some things leading into it. And yeah, okay, some of the casual fans might not catch All Out, so you got to give them a reason to tune in. So you got to give them.
That's why Jericho's announced,
right?
And there still needs to be more surprise elements too,
yes.
just completely unannounced stuff, other than just Jericho's mystery partners.
Right. At least wait till after All Out.
This is the third. Right.
If they want to build that whole card once All Out is over, fucking go for it.
Which is what they honestly should do.
Right.
And that's, I'm not going to argue anything that's announced after All Out, because that's obviously the next build up is from All Out to the weekly television series. So, Smitty, these matches are being announced. How are you feeling about these? Do you think it's burying the lead, or are you okay with it?
I'm okay with it because Jericho being announced, just like Moxley's been announced for the show, for the live October 2nd show, it gives a casual fan a reason to tune in. I don't think it bears the lead on the whole all-out championship match because we don't know if Jericho's walking in with the championship or not. Maybe, like you said earlier, it may be the main. That 6-man tag may be the main event. Even if it's the main event, having your AEW champ or your newly crowned AEW champion a part of a 6-man tag with 2 mystery partners, it builds intrigue for that match alone. Even if he doesn't win, once again, Chris Jericho's name alone builds intrigue for that match already.
Card subject to change.
So let's now go into the all-out card, okay? And we'll talk about this match. I said I think Jericho should win. Joe, obviously you haven't had a chance to talk about this, so you think that it would bury Page for if Jericho goes over?
For sure.
Why is that?
Because he's the up-and-comer. Like I said, he called his shot. He's the future of this company and this business. Jericho's there for name recognition, to draw eyes into the product. Jericho's a made man, does not need that title. This could do, wonders, boost Adam Page's career tremendously. And this is a new product, a new league, a new brand. Jericho's been champion of this, that, and the other however many times over. I think you need a new face and a new champion with a new brand, a new league on a new channel.
So you're thinking,
and then plus they can, if Page wins, they can go back to Page and Jericho after that. But I think if Page loses it, it really devalues his character.
do you think even if he lost if it wasn't a clean finish, that would still devalue his character? Because let's be honest, Page won that Battle Royal match at Double or Nothing. He then won the Fatal 4-Way match at Fight for the Fallen. No, I'm sorry, Fighter Fest. And then he won the match versus Kip Sabian. At Fight for the Fallen. So he's already 3-0. He's got the most wins of anybody on this roster. He's already going in there hot.
So that makes even more sense why he should be the guy challenging for the title.
No, I'm all right for him challenging for the title. I honestly think that the reason I think Jericho should take this is because your first champion is an established name that people then get even more outside press talking like, oh my God, AEW has Chris Jericho as their big champion. I can't wait to see what else they're doing. And if I'm not even saying Jericho needs to pin Hangman clean. I really don't think he should. I think that Hangman needs to have a reason to where he's like, that was bullshit, and I'm going to keep fighting for this because of how I was taken out of it. And I don't think that would hurt him if it was a bullshit win, but Jericho is your first ever champion.
That doesn't really go along with the type of character Jericho's portraying right now. Jericho's a heel, but he's not a chicken shit heel to steal a cheap win. He's more of a monster heel, just kick the shit out of you type heel.
Yeah, thank you. Like, you thank me for being here. He's more of an arrogant.
Like, he's not gonna, low blow a guy and push the ref down to. That's just not his style. I mean, he'd more than likely push it to be for like a no DQ match and make it a brawl.
Aren't all AEW matches no DQ matches?
It ain't New Japan.
Ref's discretion.
It's not New Japan now.
Smitty, who are you feeling should take the fucking first ever AEW championship?
I'm like a 50-50. I feel a 50-50. Like, I feel like Jericho will validate the championship.
Smitty, have conviction.
Huh?
Conviction, my friend. Know what you want and say it.
What I want, I agree with Joe. I believe that
that's what we want. I want to know what you want.
I've watched Page's career. This title will validate him in AEW more than the title. The title will get more value with Jericho, but I think the company and the up and comers would get more validation with the title.
All right. So there's also Darby Allin versus Joey Janela and Jimmy Hammock at Havoc. Oh man, I love a hammock. In a 3-way match, Cody versus Shawn Spears with Tully Blanchard, Lucha Bros versus the Young Bucks in a fucking AAA World Tag Team Championship ladder match. The Best Friends, Chuck Taylor and Trent Beretta versus the Dark Order, Evil Uno and Stu Grayson. The winner will get a bye in the first round for the Tag Team Championship. Jon Moxley versus Kenny Omega in just the normal singles match, allegedly. And, of course, I always talk about the Adam Page versus Chris Jericho. Where are you at in what is sticking out to possibly be the most excited match you're looking forward to, Nick?
I'm really looking forward to that ladder match.
Yeah.
A lot of things that I'm reading, I don't have a lot of experience with the Young Bucks and Lucha Brothers, but from what I'm hearing is that these two fucking teams, obviously from what I have seen, they go hard, but in a match like that, it's going to be one of the matches of that show. I think it's going to steal the show. That's what I'm hoping for. So I'm really looking forward to that. I don't think that the Young Bucks are going to take those titles, obviously, but I'm really looking forward to that.
Smitty, you rose your hand like you were standing on the Olympic Stadium after winning a medal, the gold medal. So you're agreeing that the
I'm agreeing the ladder match is probably one of the highlights I'm looking forward to right now. And outside of that, I think the Spears Cody match I'm also invested in too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, why is that?
Because they probably have the best storytelling out of anything that's being built right now. Like the ladder match, even though I know the Bucks and Lucha Bros have history throughout the last couple of years, the way AEW has built this Spears Cody story is via social media or whatever, everything they've done between their last 3 shows, it's the best built thing they have going right now.
All right, Joe, are you in the same boat as one of those two matches being the one you're looking forward to the most?
Yeah, I'd say so. The ladder match, and I like. I also like kind of like politically what it represents. That it's for the AAA title, and they're showing that on their biggest show,
their next biggest show,
that they're willing to do business with other companies. I like that. I hope maybe I heard there's some semi-burned bridges between them and Ring of Honor and them and New Japan. I hope maybe those fences could maybe get mended one day and do some more business with outside companies in the future, because I feel like that's the key to this whole thing as far as competition goes. But for the match, getting back to the match, yeah, that's going to be the high spot fest of the night. It's going to be absolutely visually incredible. Visually, nothing's going to top that night.
What are you thinking about for Mox versus Omega?
Don't know. I have a kind of an unfortunate feeling that I might be disappointed by it.
Really? Why is that?
Because there's just so much hype surrounding Mox right now, and there's going to be like super high expectations for this match, I feel like. And part of me thinks maybe they might not have the best chemistry working together. Hopefully I'm wrong, but that's why I think that.
Do you think it might be more on Mox or Kenny?
Mox.
Okay. Smitty, how are you feeling about Mox versus Omega?
Once again, I agree with Joe. Like, I feel like this is high. It's really high.
Bark?
Yeah. No, I kind of held down a belch, but
He was
it's
channeling
really
his
high,
inner Titus.
It was an inner
World slide.
But it's a really hyped match, and I'm worried about it. I'm excited, but worried at the same time.
I think I'm a little worried too, because I think it could be really good, but I mean, have they ever wrestled each other?
No, it's the first time ever matched.
So they may not have very good ring chemistry. That is clearly evident, and it kind of hurts the feeling of the match, and it could be a letdown. I think it could go either way.
But then again, Mox has been competing in the New Japan
Right. It's not like he's coming into this fucking thing
in the
rusty.
New Japan G1 against a ton of different not a ton, but several different opponents that he's never faced before either.
Yeah.
And they've had some good matches over there. So, I could be wrong.
Nosy, sit there.
So, bitch.
And everyone slide.
World slide.
That's what we're doing. I just muted your microphone, but I unmuted you because I'm an idiot. So what we're talking about is the AEW All Out card.
I'm caught up. I was watching on my way.
Oh, man.
He's one of our weekly subscribers.
Yeah, I tuned in while Joe was sucking your dick, and then I kind of went from there.
Well, he didn't even have to squat.
Had to use a stepladder.
Because it's so small. He could not get to it even from that height.
Makes my hand look big.
It really does.
Greatest thing about small hands.
So, Z, what is the match that you're looking forward to the most on this AEW All Out card?
The Moxley Omega match.
Yeah, so they were just saying how they're worried about this match.
Why?
Because they're feeling that it has so much hype and could be so disappointed because of that hype.
Yeah, okay, but I mean, it's still the match I'm looking forward to.
Because those are two names you know. For the most part.
Well, not only that, but I mean, Kenny is regarded as the best in the business, as a whole. And Moxley's been on fire since he left WWE. So yeah, there's a lot of hype surrounding the match, but I really don't see how it couldn't live up to the hype. With that said, there's a lot of wrestling matches that I thought that about that didn't. So I'm not worried about it.
All right. Now, hello to Trevor. Is this
And Tony.
and Tony? What's up, Tony? I love Tony Slave. He's followed me ever since, really. Joe, you haven't been here and had an opinion, at least on the show, of how you felt about Fyter Fest and Fight for the Fallen. We've obviously torn them kind of to shreds to an extent, saying that it's the officiating is just getting worse. The commentary, while it just seems to flip-flop. Is this All Out going to be a deciding factor for you into whether, if it goes off well, or is it still, if it's just still trending down, is it a deciding factor to you if you're actually going to try and give attention to their weekly show?
No, absolutely not.
So you're going to, even if this sucks, you're like, okay, let me see, I'll give them a little bit of time in the weekly thing.
For sure.
Where is your line then if you're drawing? Because you said it yourself, in our chats and everything, that you feel the AEW product is still shit compared to Ring of Honor and New Japan, especially with the G1 Climax and everything that has been put out. So, that being said, where's the line that you draw to when you're like, you know what, I'll give AEW a couple months and then I'll come back to it? Obviously, we're going to be talking about a lot on this show, but I mean to be truly invested into it. Where's your line that you're going to pull back from?
I'm not sure if I can put like an exact specific situation on it, but I would probably have to say the moment when they jump the shark. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Once, because I don't know, I see some things in their product that needs attention.
Like what?
Their announcing, for one, is fucking horrible. I mean, JR is all right. He's good. I mean, he's not the JR of old. He's good. He's doing good for what he has to work with. Excalibur is a very intelligent and knowledgeable guy, but he's a little too like indie sciencey for me, and the mask kind of irks me. Alex Marvez rubs my fucking dick.
So bad. Bad.
He's fucking awful. He's like,
did I just sign a new announcer
he's
too?
like worse than Mike Adamle awful. All right.
Oh
wow!
Like he does not need
Heard that
to
name in a
even be
long
part
time.
of that fucking product at all. He really brings it down a lot. Like I hate listening to him, seriously. Like even if the match is good, when I hear his voice, I'm just like, ugh, shut the fuck up. Like I get it, he's a friend of the Khan family and he's been in the football so what? He's been in the football business. That's not wrestling. Mm-hmm. He doesn't know shit about this product. And this is going to get me a lot of heat, but I don't give a fuck. I fucking hate Nyla Rose. I fucking hate her. Okay? Like, there is no fucking way they would let an athlete like that compete in the women's division in MMA. Would they? No. She doesn't have a fucking uterus. She has fucking a man body minus a penis, or maybe she still kept it. Who fuck knows?
Maybe she's a chick with a dick, Castro.
I mean, like, the only reason that first match with her, like, even worked was because of Awesome Kong.
Right.
Like, they needed a real force to oppose her. Otherwise, it would have just been man bitch killing these two little girls.
Well, okay, so hold on. So let me ask
And I know that's not I know that's gonna get heat. Like, that's not the PC thing to say.
But
I have nothing.
Hold on.
I have nothing against transgender people or anything that. But there is no way that would be legally allowed in a real sport.
Now we've said this. We've had this conversation many fucking times, right? We've stated that in any type of sport, no matter what it is, if you put the biggest, baddest dude up against the biggest, baddest woman, in just about every sport, that biggest, baddest dude is definitely going to win. We've said this. It's not... It's true. There's like very few sports where it doesn't fucking matter. I think tennis is one of those sports where it doesn't matter if you're a dude or a girl. If you're Serena Williams versus the biggest, baddest dude, if she took on Andre Agassi in his prime versus Serena Williams in her prime, I think Serena would fucking win. Because Serena Williams, I think, is just a badass fucking tennis player. And the way she moves and everything, but it's also difficult to call. But I think tennis is one of those more equally contested sports.
Golf.
Depending on the tees you're playing
Right.
from. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
exactly.
Like if you're letting if the girl's playing from the guys' tees, or the guy's playing from the girls' tees, you don't know. It actually might be more of a contest if the guy's playing from the girls' tee, because he's still got to try and then figure out different tees from where he's playing from. Again. But if you're getting into things like basketball, and you got LeBron James taking on the baddest...
Lisa Leslie.
Lisa Leslie's fucking old school. I'm talking like one of the newest, baddest fucking WNBA stars. I don't know.
Name a WNBA.
I don't know.
There is
Brittany Griner.
Let me tell you something. There is no such thing as a WNBA star. Period.
Segue into that poll.
Anyway. So I'm not disagreeing with you in the Nyla Rose aspect of this, because we said it. When she took on those two girls herself in that fucking match at Fight for the Fallen, it was just awkward. It's like, why the fuck isn't she kicking out of this roll-up? She's literally 4 times the size of the girl on top of her.
Manhandle those girls, no pun intended.
So, yeah,
like, it's...
Yeah, so we're not
I mean,
we're not arguing.
What do you think the reaction would be from the... I mean, you're going to get... Your PC people and your SJWs to say that say Nyla Rose is the first women's champion in AEW. I mean, how do you think? I mean, that would just be fucking weird to me. I'm sorry.
That would be like when Ellsworth
dude, that's
took the briefcase from her.
Carmella.
The backlash would be about the same.
It's sure you would have your sympathists and your apologists and stuff like, oh, that's so great, that's so wonderful they did that, but
LGBTQ, RST,
let me tell you something. Despite what media portrays, that's still a pretty small percentage of society, and I guarantee you most people would be like, what the fuck?
So let me ask you then, is it Nyla Rose that rubs, or is it the fact that they're booking her in these fucking stupid situations?
It's the way they book her.
So it's not. It's not so much that you have a major problem with Nyla Rose. It's because you said it yourself. You've watched all these other Mexican independent. You've watched other, Lucha Libre type.
Yeah, and they have the Exoticos and stuff.
And things
the
like
Exoticos wrestle men.
Yeah, which you like.
If Nyla Rose wrestled men, I'd be okay with that.
We're not arguing Nyla Rose. Right, okay, there you go. If Nyla Rose wrestled men, you'd be okay with that.
For sure.
But right now, the way they're booking her against people who are 1/4 her size, it looks
the
stupid.
only person in the division that can pose a real threat to her is Kong.
Both Kongs.
Oh yeah, Aja Kong, but we don't know how regular she's going to be with the company either.
So
and she's old too.
All right. That's all I wanted to do. I wanted to clear up before any of the real heat started getting in. Like, oh shit, Joe hates transgender wrestling. And no, it's not that. It's the booking of Nyla Rose. He would love to see Nyla Rose go up against dudes. He'd love Nyla versus any of the Kongs.
Dude, the Exoticos and AAA and Lucha Underground, they're fun to watch, man.
So yeah, but
Tessa Blanchard and Impact right now.
And that's all I was trying to do was to clear that up. I didn't want any type of heat coming on you.
Not that I would care anyway. I mean,
but at the same time,
Don't give a
unnecessary. You know what I'm saying? It's not needed. You don't fucking have to deal with that. I don't want to deal with that. Smitty is already dealing with that.
He's used to the heat.
But again, either way,
that hot heat.
So
Back in the oven type of heat.
again,
He said it.
because he's allowed to. Where's the line that you draw where you have to take a break from giving AEW the benefit of doubt?
Maybe that would be if they put the women's title on Nyla. I might just be like, man, they just jumped a fucking shark with that.
Well, no. So what I'm getting at is you're saying that if All Out is bad, you're not going to be upset and not watch the weekly product. But then you start watching the weekly product.
No matter what happens, I'm of course going to tune into the first week's show.
Okay, but I'm talking about the weekly product total. I'm not just talking about the first episode. Everyone and their fucking mother's going to tune in the first episode like, oh my God, we got a 5.8. They won't, but whatever. I'm not going to bet on that because I don't fucking know. But that'd be a huge fucking number on a Wednesday. Oh, we do our show on a Wednesday.
I was already thinking of that one, man.
But no, I'll get into all that later.
AEW viewing party.
Right? So anyway, that being said, then where's the line?
Oh,
Where's the line that you finally say, okay, I'm not giving them the benefit of the doubt no more. This product sucks. Is it 3 weeks of a show that's looking bad? Is it 4 weeks? Is it a month, couple months?
Let's be honest here. How many times have I said that to WWE and I still fucking tune in?
Yeah, but you aren't giving them the benefit of the doubt anymore. Now you're fucking ripping into them. You're like, this needs to fucking change. This sucks. This sucks. That's what I'm talking about. When's the benefit of the doubt disappearing?
I'll rip into them, right? I've already been ripping into them. I'll rip into them regardless. Doesn't mean I won't watch it.
Right, but you're still giving it benefit of the doubt. Like, oh, they have to have time to fix and everything. Double or Nothing was really good product.
Honestly, shit, man. It could take them 6 months to a year to really get
Okay,
rolling.
all right. What about for you, Z?
I was thinking a year.
I mean, they're gonna hit a bunch of bumps in the roads.
Okay, Smitty, when's your number?
I'm at like the year and a half mark.
Year and a half. Man.
Once again, I watched
He
a
just has
lot
to
of
add
wrestling.
6 months onto what I said. That's all he's doing.
No, as I say, about a year and a half, and that's because like I watched a lot of stuff like come and go. Like I was a big fan of Lucha Underground. When I lost time to watch it, I came back. Product was a little too confusing. Like I've been in and out of Impact for like the last couple of years. I'm finally back in Impact because they've actually got good story going.
Okay, so I'm going to ask this question again because I don't know if you even noticed this. In your answer, you said you tuned out from things. I'm talking about when's that benefit of the doubt? AEW is not a good product right now.
That's I'm going with the whole year and a half because like that's about the same time I gave TNA Impact before I was.
Give it about 4 years. That's what you need to build a big program.
Nick, you said the same 6 months to a year?
Yeah, 6 months to a year because I'm not used to watching so much wrestling. I mean, I've watched more wrestling in the last 7 months than I have in the last 7 years. But now when you're going into AEW and I have that more accessible alternative, I am going to give them, a good 6 months to a year because like these guys said, they're going to have kinks to work out and let's see what kind of storylines they can put together and this whole, aspect of having statistics and wins count and, all that. Let's see. I got to give that time. I can't say, 3 weeks later and it fucking sucks. I got to give it time.
Are they going live every week? Or
Yes.
is just the first episode
Yep,
live? and then-
live every week.
Okay. So it's not taped.
I'm on the same boat as you guys. I'm at a year. I'm not 6 months. I want to give it a year.
Yep.
And I feel like the year, going further than a year before I can say something is good or bad, is just you're kind of hoping it gets better at that point. I'm hoping it's great. I'm hoping it's better than Fyter Fest and Fight for the Fallen because Double or Nothing. When I watched it live, when I didn't hear the commentary, that fucking show was amazing. Then when I watched it with the commentary, I was like, this fucking show is good. But that's like
That's most wrestling live events.
But no, that's not because there are times where you're sitting at a Raw event and it's fucking slow. SmackDown's coming into town next week. Probably going to that. It's going to be fucking slow. Because but when we watched that Raw that was filmed for the New Year's
Great.
it was great because it flowed.
It was a fast-paced show, and it was awesome.
And granted, it's also different for pay-per-views because pay-per-views move more. There's no commercial breaks. There's no worried about it. So watching the show, and I agree, the commentary takes you out of it. But it does not change the fact that that product that they're putting on in that ring, for the most part, for AEW, is high quality. I can easily agree with that. And that's what I say for the most part, because, man, I agree with you, Joe. The Nyla Rose match was absolute shit. She should not have been booked like that. And then there's other little things, but that's little, the referee, so on and so forth. So, yes, a year for me is enough to get your kinks out of your commentary, because of course you got to figure out how to work with each other. Plus, when you go onto a weekly show rather than every month of a pay-per-view, you're going to get better chemistry. You're going to see how everything works more. And I'll be fucking goddamn if I don't think that show's going to suck for 2 months. And because it's all new.
I don't think I'll ever be able to be okay with Alex Marvez in the commentary booth. He's just got to go. He's got to go.
I don't think he's a permanent staple, though.
I don't know, man.
He was there for...
I think they intend him to be.
Keith Ellie asked a question, and we'll start this off with Joe. Do y'all think AEW will get better ratings than WWE? And I'll actually add on to that. Do you think at some point it could be comparable within their first 2 years?
No.
You don't think they'll touch WWE's 2.3 million?
Maybe out of the gate, but not on a regular basis, no.
Not on a regular basis, Z.
Yeah, I was going to say, first couple episodes, first episode for sure, depending on how that episode goes, will kind of dictate what the weekly ratings will be going forward. But, I mean, it took Nitro like 4 years. One, to take over the ratings, and then they finally took them over for like 7 years. But, yeah, I mean, probably about 2 years they'll be in competition. Only if WWE's ratings continue to be so low, though. Like, unless they change something too and their ratings skyrocket. But with the current product WWE has, I give them about 2 years to be somewhat within competition.
Okay. Nick.
Yeah, I'm in that same boat. The first 1, 2, 3 weeks, I think, especially with the first show, I think they'll outdo WWE. Not by a lot, but
I think by a lot, that first show.
But when you go into, it is going to take a while, a good 2, 3 years for them to keep that pace. And I mean, it just depends on what they do. And, honestly, I kind of feel like if the WWE product gets better and people start tuning into that more, that might pull wrestling fans back in and entice them to not only watch WWE, but to watch AEW. So it might do both companies good. I could be wrong, but, it is definitely going to take them time to come close to that. But for a little while, they will. I think they'll definitely beat them in the first 1, 2, 3 weeks, maybe.
Spitty, where you at with this?
I think the first 2, 3 weeks, maybe a month, they could beat them. But it's also dependent. WWE's product is a huge factor. They easily could out like I say Wednesday, like them going on Wednesday, that puts them head up with one of the network's highest rated shows of NXT,
which is on Hulu, and in the fall when they go to Fox, it's going to be on FS1.
Yeah.
So I don't see. To me, with SmackDown moving to Friday, if I was AEW, I'd have taken Tuesday. Fuck.
Yeah, so so NXT is supposed to be going to FS1 with the whole thing on Wednesday. So they're going to be, no matter what, they're still going to be head to head.
Is that an actual thing? Like, that's been confirmed? I know it was talked about.
So I don't know if it's been confirmed or not, but they said NXT is supposed to be going to FS1 on Wednesdays.
If it's not confirmed, we're speculating right now, and there's no and it very well may be that it could be speculation that NXT is going to FS1 and they're going to Tuesdays, and that's why AEW said, okay, let's go to Wednesday on TNT. Because it's you never know.
A lot of it depends on WWE's the way their programming goes over the next couple months, years.
You better believe WWE is going to put something on to combat pretty much all their shows, including their weekly show.
Mm-hmm.
So my thought process is that I agree with Z. I think that first show is probably going to blow WWE's ratings out of the water. Very close.
I'd be willing to bet double.
I'm not sure because there's only so many wrestling fans. There's not nearly as many fans now as there was like in the Attitude Era. So where are they going to pull these new fans from?
But that's the thing is I think they're bringing out the people that tuned out of wrestling because the Attitude Era kind of went away.
I don't know about that. That's going to be tough.
Not only that,
They'd be more likely to draw new fans and bring back old ones.
But what I'm saying is this is a alternative product. So I'm not saying that these fans are going to stick around. I'm saying, are you telling me that something similar to the Attitude Era is coming back for wrestling and it's going to be on TNT? So it's already reminiscent of your Monday Night Wars. You're going back and forth. I'm not saying those fans will stay. I'm saying you might get those fans tuning in. You know, just like you don't want to drop the ball with that then because, like we said, Fyter Fest. We're like, oh, this is your free show you're giving out to everyone. Fight for the Fallen. So another free show, and you guys really are kind of. I mean, it's better, but you're still kind of dropping the ball compared to the one that people paid for.
Michael Nakazawa versus
Alex Bailey.
Fucking puke.
But now let me ask you this: Fight for the Fallen and Fyter Fest were both free pay-per-views. If they were just weekly television shows, does that change your mind of how good or bad they were, since they're no longer pay-per-views and they're weekly shows?
If
Fyter Fest was one episode of whatever Tuesday night, or
I would say what a shitty show that was.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, no, because again,
I just didn't know if you were rating it on like the pay-per-view scale versus like the weekly.
No, I'm rating it on a show scale. Look, man, a Raw can be fucking amazing, top to bottom, and I'll say it was better than a pay-per-view. You know, and that's just how I rated things on a scale of how much I enjoyed it. And you can always enjoy an episode of SmackDown better than some of the pay-per-views last year for sure. We used to talk about how SmackDown was the epitome of WWE, while the fucking pay-per-views in Raw just kept falling short. So do I think that in time AEW could touch the ratings? Depends on the time. You know, do I think they'll do it as fast as WCW did it? You never know. It's possible. At the same time, I think they got a lot of kinks to work out. Like when Bischoff was walked into WCW, they were only working out kinks for a weekly television show, not for the product, because the product was already going from before. And when Ted Turner bought it, it just wasn't, put into a thing that people wanted to see. Bischoff made it entertainment.
But WCW also had huge names.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Like so this Hulk is you're
Hogan,
going into
Macho
this.
Man,
I think, and those are the people that Bischoff brought. So that's why I'm thinking that this is something that will take time. It's very possible down the line. We're asked, do we think that they are going to bring back old fans or try to market at a new group and end up making it much more, making it too much scripted?
That's what I was just saying. I don't know about the overscript. I don't think they're going to overscript anything, but I think they're more apt to bring in newer viewers than they are to bring back old, grizzled, bitter veteran viewers that are fed up with the product.
I think jaded viewers going to be people to bring.
I think if you bring back the old viewers, it opens it up to the new viewers, and then,
if the old viewers aren't watching anything right now, then they're not in the wrestling bubble and they're not even having wind of AEW.
However, then there's the nostalgia factor, and people buy into nostalgia no matter what it is, dude. No matter what the fuck, there's a reason that these goddamn bands are going on tour 10 years after an album and performing it.
The only thing nostalgic about this is the TV station they're on.
The TV station and the style that's going on the shows.
It's not Monday Night Wars. They're not going head to head with Raw or SmackDown.
I'm not arguing that. What I'm saying is it feels much more like what they were putting on during the Attitude Era, where there was a lot more. It was a lot less scripted.
There's no
people talking,
a bunch of blood, that kind of shit.
And it's stuff that
you don't know if they can do that much blood on TNT every week, though.
We'll see. Smitty, do you think that it's something that are they going new group or are they bringing back the old grizzled?
A little bit of both, because like there's the jaded WWE fans that are definitely going to tune in. Those indie fans that are going to tune in, and then like I said, I think with that, especially with that indie crowd, you're going to bring in a new niche kind of audience.
Yeah.
To the product. So, and you already got your base fans for the people who are fans of Jericho, the people who are fans of Moxley, the people who are
Right.
Certain other names that are already out there.
All right, Nick, I'll ask you this, and then we're going to move on to Raw and the reunion.
You know, I think that
Speaking of nostalgia.
a lot of what you guys are saying is very valid, but I think there's a fine line with you got to consider, and I always go back to this point, that the average age of I'll even say just the everyday wrestling fan is getting older and older and older. The only product that well over 50% of them have regular access to is WWE. And if they think that shit sucks, they're going to fucking walk away. And they may walk away for good. So that means that their kids aren't watching. That means that their friends aren't watching because they're all getting out of that loop. So if they can get back into it, and I think that a lot of them will if they see AEW on TNT, what is this? Maybe piquing their interest that helps get that younger generation. And that'll, hey, Callie, my kid, check this out. Or, you know, I think a lot of the younger crowd, they're not buying wrestling now because the fact that the only thing that, not people like us, the only thing they're seeing is WWE, totally scripted, bullshit. They don't like it. They're turning it off. So they're telling their friends that it sucks, and their friends are telling their friends that it sucks. Well, here's AEW. Who fucking cares? You know what I mean? So I think there's a very fine line because not everybody thinks the way we do. Not everybody thinks the same way you guys do.
I disagree with you to an extent, and that is with the kid factor. Because WWE, part of the reason we dislike it so much is it's overly PG. They've kind of gotten away from it the past couple weeks, but it's overly PG, so it's targeted at kids. So kids are the ones that are supposed to buy into it. Mikey thinks the product's shit. His daughter loves it.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, it's targeted towards kids.
But
So-
like my 13-year-old niece thinks it's the dumbest fucking shit she's ever seen.
She's preteen, so
You-
there
but
we go.
but you know what I mean? So
And a
like
girl.
it's back and forth, you know.
What's her favorite wrestler? Nyla Rose.
She was impressed with the main event of Extreme Rules, though. We got home and she was like, "Oh my god, that was so fucking cool!" And I was like, "Okay."
That was so
Yeah.
long ago. I don't
So
even remember what
now
it
we're
was.
kind of reeling her in, you know. But
Nice. All right, so let's go into talking Raw and SmackDown for the last couple weeks. 2 weeks ago, last week's Raw, was the Raw reunion special. Matter of fact, highest fucking rated episode of Raw all fucking year. Right?
And I didn't
Surprise
even
to
think it was
fucking
that great
Brian.
of a show.
Right? It was not. It was good.
The end was good.
Yeah, it was good. It had some decent matches for the matches that it had in it. It was fucking. Hey, look at this. Hey, look at that. Hey, look at this.
That's kind of a red flag, that ratings stat that you just said right there.
3.093 million viewers for the Raw.
Okay, so
reunion
what does
episode.
that say overall, though, about the big picture of the current product?
It says that people want what they had, and there's another.
It says
reason why.
people are more interested in the older generation that was a lot funner to watch than they are in your current product.
Well, yeah, for sure, but that's nothing new.
So what should WWE as a company do about that? Other than just have an old timer show once a year.
Bring back Stone Cold Weekly. Put him on commentary.
No.
Do you think Austin is the reason?
Oh, I would put money that Austin was the majority of the reason. What was that third hour statistics?
I would love to tell you. I'm not looking.
okay.
I didn't search that far back.
But yeah, I
Because
mean,
I have this
here's the
just
thing.
has this week's and last week's.
You ask 10 wrestling fans of what the best part of the Attitude Era was, and all 10 of them are going to say Stone Cold Steve Austin. Everybody, he transcends wrestling. Everybody knows who he is.
He's got
No
his own
matter,
show on
no matter
USA
if you
now.
saw one episode of Raw in your entire life, or I don't know.
shit, you know,
I don't know what my running total is.
even if you never saw Raw, you fucking know. who
Right,
it is.
right, exactly. He transcended wrestling without ever doing anything but wrestling, except for like The Condemned, which wasn't a great movie.
It was a knockoff of Battle Royale.
But-
really bad knockoff.
So yes, I do think Stone Cold Steve Austin promised to be there, especially after, like, for fans like us after that Moxley interview, like, oh, Stone Cold's going on WWE now, like going back now, like, all right, I'm gonna tune in. I mean, for me, from top to bottom, it was just cool to see the little skits with like Ron Simmons, who does not look like Ron Simmons. Looks like Ron Simmons died, but his ghost is still here.
Ron Simmons need to cut his hair off, dude.
He looks like Fat George Jefferson.
Damn.
But yeah, I think people tuned in to see Stone Cold. He does. You thought about it. That's why you're laughing.
A beefed up.
Moving on up.
Damn. Nick, Raw reunion special for you. How was it?
It was all right. I will say that I sat there waiting for Stone Cold to come out.
Point and case.
and I say that because a lot of those, not all of them, but a lot of those guys we've seen recently, like Raw 25, or I saw Hogan at
25
WrestleMania.
was 4 years ago.
What?
Yeah, dude, it was like
The 25th anniversary?
Come on now, man. It's
doesn't
been,
seem like it, but
it's
been
been
for
a
like
minute
4
since
years.
we've seen
2
the
years?
living legend Alicia Fox.
The 1000th episode of Raw was in 2011.
Wow,
That's
where the
8
fuck
years
was
ago.
I?
Yeah.
Anyway, but okay, that's how I feel. I feel like I've seen them more often. Like, first of all, what the fuck was Alicia Fox doing there?
She's a legend, don't you know?
And like Santino, I don't give a fuck about Santino. I didn't give a
I
fuck
think it was
about
fun to see him.
I was
That's
happy
fine.
to
That's
see
fine.
him.
Let it
because
his opinion
it's
go on.
for 5 seconds. So like I'm supposed to get hype. Okay, Rob Van Dam and Sergeant Slaughter and them coming down, that was cool.
Rob Van Dam, dude, I fucking popped for.
That was cool.
I was like, oh shit!
I was out of the room. My girl was like, "Who's Rob Van Dam?" And I was like, "Wait a minute,
Pause it.
pause it." And I ran.
I thought he might be there because I saw someone posted a picture online that
His
they were.
girlfriend, Katie Forbes?
No. They were at concession. They were selling the foam thumbs. I was like, no way, because he signed to Impact. But when he came out,
let him
even
go.
though I kind of thought he might be there, when he came out, I had like an old school mark out pop.
There were definitely a couple parts.
I was kind of spoiled because his girlfriend Katie Forbes on Instagram posted her being backstage.
Oh,
But Nick, when
see,
you
I
bring
follow her
back
too, but I didn't see that.
300 legends, they all get 10 seconds except for Stone Cold.
Yeah, I don't know. It was kind of like, oh, cool. Okay, goodbye. All right, that's kind of cool.
The 24/7 title thing was kind of fun at first, and then it got a little
Too much.
yeah.
I like when Ray did the Frog Splash tribute to Rob. That was pretty cool.
That was
Yeah.
I was just underwhelmed.
Smitty, were you underwhelmed, or overwhelmed?
I was whelmed because I went in thinking like this was a nostalgia pop ratings grab. and
They
that's
missed some
exactly what it was.
opportunities with that show.
Well, we'll go on. We'll get yours.
So I was exactly whelmed.
You were just whelmed.
I was whelmed. Like I could have said like I knew that no SummerSlam story was really going to progress. Maybe you got a little tidbit of stuff for something else, but I think the most neat stuff you got was for 205. Was this stuff going to 205? And outside of that, it was a nostalgia pop ratings grab. And
All right, Joe, where did they miss out on?
They should have done something with KO and Stone Cold. I mean, he's doing stunners now.
Mm-hmm.
That could have done wonders for KO. You know, if he could have got some kind of rub from Stone Cold.
He's gotten the rub from Stone Cold all over social media, though.
That's not the same as being on TV, dude, and doing it in front of a live audience.
I think one person got a rub that night.
Bray Wyatt.
Yep.
He's the only one.
The only one that got a positive
Mandible
rub.
claw on Mick Foley.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, he's the only
I'll
one
give you that.
really he's the only like current guy on the roster that made any benefit whatsoever from the old guys being there.
They in OC, they look like fucking idiots getting ran out by the NWO.
Dude, and
DX.
what the fuck, dude? Like, so all of a sudden, that's so fucked up. Because, like a week ago, Triple H is tag teaming with them in Japan, and now he's like, fuck that shit. He does it when it's popular in Japan, and then fuck that, dude.
Well, you just said it yourself. Social media and stuff is way different than television. So just because he did it in Japan,
That's still in front of a live audience in a ring.
That's still a live audience, but it's mostly outside of being Japan. It's mostly a social.
Whatever.
media
It still
thing.
just shows how Triple H does what he wants to do when it benefits him
that was
himself the
Triple
most.
That was Triple H the game. This was Triple H
The
DX.
creator.
There's a difference.
the creator.
Okay. And dude, and the whole Seth Rollins with
The Miz TV segment.
and the DX,
Yeah.
that was just terrible.
I read that was supposed to be Ricochet.
Seth Rollins like fucking sucked on that whole show. He was terrible.
I've lost interest in Seth Rollins like weeks ago.
Well, I guess we'll get to that later.
Yeah. So, for me, I'm in full agreement with you guys. I think we're all on the same page. It was a show. It wasn't great. It didn't suck, but it didn't do much of anything other than you get your nostalgia pops. And I agree. There was the rub for Bray Wyatt, the Fiend, which was wonderful. I think that the club backing down, the OC, the Orange County backing down.
Yeah, that didn't do them any favors.
No, I'm actually okay with it because, one, they didn't get beat down. Two, it took a while before they backed down. It took until a bunch of people showed up.
And three, I was
before,
gonna say
it
there
was
was
like
like
3
10
of them.
people in the
Yeah, and then
ring.
they're like, okay, now there's like 10 people we're going to back. Like, it was DX and NWO, and it's like, all right, you know what? Cool, we're going to. It was the entire clique and DX. So eventually, 3 guys could, when you're backing down from 10, you don't look weak. You look like we're being smart here.
Dude, they're all heels. They're all two sweeters. They should have just all two sweeted and like fucked up Rollins.
They did that at the Raw 25 show.
And like the dumbest part was that like just because they knew they couldn't get Billy Gunn, they let Seth Rollins do the whole suck it part for the whole promo at the end,
which he totally sucked it
he
at.
Botched it so
I
hard.
mean, Seth is no Billy
I don't
Gunn.
even like his voice. I'm Seth Rollins and I talk out of my nose.
All right, so Raw reunion. We're all on the we're all on the same
Not
page.
one
Now-
center from Stone Cold. Not one. Not a single one.
But Lillian Garcia got drenched in beer.
So next episode of SmackDown, we're just kind of gonna cruise through this, guys, because we've only got about a little bit over a half hour left for the show. So next episode of SmackDown, the big story coming out of it was the way Shane sold a fucking stunner. No, it was not the biggest thing that came out of it, but it was Dolph Ziggler dropping that sweet chin music on Shawn Michaels, and it kind of progressing into this week's storylines. Same with stunner. Kevin Owens hitting that stunner on Shane McMahon. SmackDown is where you saw these things start to really move forward for SummerSlam, which is coming up on August 11th, next weekend. So let's go into taking that and moving into this week's Raw and SmackDown, because obviously they're the same fucking superstars, same fucking show. This week's Raw had a triple threat tag team match where 2 weeks ago we asked everyone here on the show if you were finally bought into the club, and then they changed their name. So, good call, Smitty. The club is dead, just like he said. But the OC, Jack Black's group, is fucking gonna be doing it over there with all them people. God, what a fucking horrible name. But
California.
they do have the Raw Tag Team Championships now. They are, the OC itself is a club that holds all of the goldish colors.
It's white gold.
Yeah, white gold.
White gold.
Whatever. Smitty, are you finally bought in on this group, this faction?
I'm starting to buy into it.
Jeez, it's yes or no, man. So no, you're not.
Not 100%. Like, I'm
So
still.
then no, you're not in.
I'm still mad about the last week. So I was still mad about the last week. I was glad to see them take a win and look strong in doing it. That is just some of the stuff they did last week in the track record of what they've done with them.
What about you, Joe? Are you bought in on this finally being the iteration of these boys that you've been hoping for? Obviously, it's not going to be what they did in Japan and how fucking hardcore they were in Japan, but is it something that you're like, at least you could say, you know what, good on them. They're making them look
It is
strong.
good on them, but no, I'm not bought in because you can't erase the past 4 or 5, whatever years they've been in the company of history where they've done shit. You just can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. So there's like, they've been devalued and weakened for so long. Yeah, they deserve these titles probably more than anyone on the roster, but it's like it's just so hard to forget everything that they did, or more accurately didn't do.
Now, so you said that, okay, hold on, that's a good point. You're saying that you feel that they deserve those titles more than anyone on the roster. There isn't a single tag team that you could think of that would deserve or be as deserving of a tag team championship as them.
In this context, no. They've been there for how long now? 4 or 5 years?
Okay.
They
Something like that.
threatened to leave. They were going to leave until WWE threw a bunch of money at them and said, hey, we're going to probably put you back with AJ and give you the titles. So they're like, okay, I guess we'll stay, But this is a team that, like, they were the baddest fucking team on the planet before they came to WWE. They were fucking awesome. World renowned. And they came to WWE and fucking VKM just fucking shits on them like he does on everything that comes from outside of his company. And it's like, you just they take people that fans like idolize and enjoy and want to root for, and they just beat them and grind them down to a little nub. And then after that, it's almost like they're almost valueless.
So then how come they deserve the titles more than any other tag
Because
team?
they've been shit on the entire time they've been there, and they have the credentials that say they should be the champions. And if given opportunities, they could be putting on stellar matches every week, but they don't get the opportunities until now. That's why.
So because of their credentials in other places is why they deserve the titles in this place, even though
They've not even been given an opportunity to run with the ball in this place, man.
They've held the titles
One
before.
time, and it meant fucking nothing. It was a short, meaningless.
It was short, meaningless run and transition for Hardys to win.
Dude, Vince, they've been riding the pine. Okay, they don't get used until now. Like, and they're why? Because Vince didn't create them. Like, why? There's really no logical reason for it. They were one of the best tag teams on the fucking earth before they came here.
You know, I would love to agree with you completely, but I can only partially agree because while they were riding the pine, especially on like when they were put onto SmackDown at one point, there was so much going on with the tag division on SmackDown that it was hard to get them into anything. New Day Usos were a fucking...
But that was it. That was your tag team.
Yeah, man.
Right, but it
that
was
was
still, but it was still putting on every time they had a match, and then who else got involved with it?
Look, you saw the tag team match on Raw. They could have easily thrown the Good Brothers in that mix. Look at that match with the Revival and the Usos and them guys on. It was a great match. Tell me it wasn't.
I'm not arguing that, but if
they
you
could have
put
been
them-
having great matches with New Day and Usos for years from now.
But
if they
you
just
put
would have had
them-
opportunities.
If you put them in that match scenario and situation where the Usos and New Day are selling out things, the reason people are going, at the end of the day, people are going Usos and New Day, so people are looking at paying money for Usos and New Day, and they're not paying money for Gallows and Anderson. So if you put Gallows and Anderson in that situation, you're putting them in there to lose. And then you're fighting your own battle where you're
Not
like... you keep-
necessarily.
Really?
Not if you book them to win or if they have a good fucking showing.
Without taking a loss, without taking a pin.
But what I'm saying is
they're
they're... But what I'm saying is you're saying that they deserve to win to you. But if they're not putting on, but if no one's giving a shit, right? If no one's going to the show that gives a shit about them, if they're not buying any
How
merch
could
from-
they give a
Hold
shit
on.
about them if they're never on the
Listen to
fucking
me.
card?
Time out.
Facts.
Joe was literally having this conversation online about who the fuck was it about?
New Jack.
No. The one,
That was fucking hilarious.
Stop.
No, he was in
Today?
Yeah, the one about the kids like, well, I have an opinion. You're like, your opinion doesn't fucking matter.
You're like, I don't even fucking know you.
That one.
Dude, I roasted that guy. He had it coming. I was right in everything I said.
Conversation.
But okay, so
No, it's not, though. It's not. It's really not.
because my opinion does matter, and he does know me. So again, but you're saying you book them to win, right? So you give them. Let's say you give them a win. Let's say you give them a win 2 weeks in a row, but the fucking Gallows and Anderson are still not putting the butts in the seats like New Day and like the Usos. They're still outselling all the fucking merch. Are going to those tag teams, which is the reason when you're going to it, people are buying all of this stuff.
Okay, I'll still go back to what my point was earlier. How much TV time over the past few years has New Day and Usos had compared to the Gallows and Anderson?
But I'm not. What I'm saying is,
opportunities.
I'm not arguing.
How have Gallows and Anderson? How could they get themselves over other than like social media if they're not on TV?
But if you're putting him in those matches, right, and they're just thrown into a feud that is red fucking hot, they're not going to get the wins. They're not going to be put in a good light. So all you're doing is killing them harder, in my opinion. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't. I'm not saying they didn't deserve it, but you put them into a situation where you're saying they're riding the bench, but you put into a red hot situation, and all it's going to do is make them look like losing.
Look, I'm not just saying throw them in a triple threat fucking tag match with no rhyme or reason or no booking behind it with those guys.
I care about the tag team division
But you
more.
can write them and weave them in and out of the tag division and let natural storylines develop, dude.
But that's
Well, yeah.
kind of what they did on Monday. Was just threw them in a
That's-
triple
yeah,
threat
what it-
tag match that.
Let them win because once again, AJ's hot.
Well,
They're hot. With
My
AJ.
only issue with the club is I would have liked to
DLC.
see.
didn't they win a match to get in that match though?
No.
No.
No,
No, they
were
were
thrown
just
into it.
put
They were
into the
thrown in.
match.
Okay.
And my biggest issue with that is I would have liked to see them kind of run through the tag division and then take the title.
I'd have liked to see them do that 4 years ago.
Well, kind of like what they're doing with the Viking Raiders, only with actual teams in the WWE, not jobbers, but have them come out and like look dominant and then take the titles. Now, right now, it just looks like, oh, they won a fluke match
Let's
because
be
it was
honest.
a triple threat and they got lucky.
Let's be honest. Like they wouldn't even get this unless they put them guys back with put them back with AJ. Like I say, what in Vince McMahon's company, they are valueless without AJ. Honestly,
Yeah, but that's
They
only,
would-
it's only because that's the way they book them.
like I say,
So you're saying that there's no way they can get value now, even with AJ, to go off separate from him? They'll never have value.
That I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I'm asking Smith.
within Vince McMahon's company, no. I don't think like without AJ, they don't get the opportunities that they got right,
So
get
you're
right
telling
now.
me Vince hates bald people?
I'm gonna tell you this right now. I think that's the stupidest way of looking at it. And here's
Tell us how
why.
you really feel.
Stone Cold's his biggest horse ever. How could he?
But
hate
here's
bald
why.
people?
AJ is nowhere near a Vince McMahon creation. He is the furthest thing from it. But he took what he was given and blew the fuck up in that company. There's a reason he held that WWE championship for over a year. There's a reason that Gallows and Anderson with him, give them value. If they have a run with AJ as their by his side, it's very possible they get put into enough heat or enough over that where they can then have a good run. Period. I'm not saying they're going to be the main event of the fucking show because let's be very honest, it's not a tag team driven division show, right? Period.
They don't care about
But
tag teams.
at the same time, there's a reason that at one point the Dudleys, Edge and Christian, and the Hardys were the biggest fucking thing in wrestling. There's a reason how in 2017 the Usos and the New Day were putting on fucking classic match after classic fucking match, and Vince could not argue it. There's a reason that Kofi Kingston is your WWE champion right now, and it's because of how over he was getting in that group and then was put into the right place at the right time.
Nah, it's
So-
because Randy injured Ali.
that's, but again, put in the right place at the right time. So that being said, to say that no, they can never get over in Vince McMahon's company when other people have done it against grains that everyone is saying Vince McMahon has is stupid.
Yeah,
Because I'm not saying
I
it
don't
won't
agree
be.
with that.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's gonna be easy.
Anything could spark a fire.
Yeah.
You know.
I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I'm saying to say it will never happen is the most fucking ignorant thing you could say.
That's why I said I don't
got a
know.
clip
Yeah,
on over,
agreed.
so.
Boom. Gallows and Anderson very well could be one of the hottest fucking things.
And they,
in
they
WWE.
have
Trust
all
me.
the tools to do it.
Yeah,
They
nobody-
just-
I
they
believe
just
they have
need
the tools to
TV
do
time.
it.
Nobody more than me wants that to happen.
Just
like
because
I
you
just
look like
I
that.
just don't know. I don't know, man. He's got better abs than me nowadays.
There's a reason I loved Entourage, okay? Because it fucking got me over. Hey, that fucking turtle? Yep, it is.
You got your
It's me. You want to take a photo? What's up, Vince? You know. But
Try some of my tequila.
I've taken so many photos with pictures with an Avion bottle. It's okay.
I see
Now-
it now. I see it.
You didn't
never
see
saw
it before?
I never thought about it. And it's just in my head, and I'm like, oh my God.
It's even worse before he wore glasses.
I'm going to get a selfie with you before I leave.
That's fine. Man. It was actually really funny. I posted a photo of my new license. My license is on fucking Twitter, and one of my friends just commented a gif of turtle. I was like, yeah, I know. So Now let's go on to, we said that it was kind of overdone and a little bit stupid towards the end of it on the Raw reunion show. Well, at the beginning of Monday Night Raw this week, the 24/7 championship was defended. Truth retained and then was piled on, and Mike Kanellis slid out with the 24/7 title, becoming the 24/7 champion until he went to his locker room. Well, he went to the officials' room, which was then knocked on by his wife, who then told him to get on his back, and she pinned him because nobody can touch a pregnant woman as champion. This happened. Is this good or bad, Z?
They're retiring the belt, and this is how they're doing.
They're retiring the best title.
I'm just
your entire fucking company.
Listen, they did that whole opening intro to how great and entertaining this title has been, and then they end up putting it on Maria's. Who, if you really can't pin a pregnant woman, then
maybe.
So for the next 9 months, you're
wrong.
Yeah.
Think about it. How did Jinder lose it on the plane? Sleeping.
Well, what did she say though?
So you mean to tell me in this PC driven world you're gonna have a man lay on top of a sleeping
I'm
woman?
gonna have her husband
gonna
roll over in bed and a ref go 1, 2, 3, and then he takes off and loses.
Like how Ivory took
she's gonna be
the
up in
hardcore title.
she's gonna be up in stirrups at the OBGYN tomorrow. You never know.
And then
in walks in Dr. Drake.
or Mike Kanellis just has his hand on her shoulder,
right,
and her ref comes up and counts
honey,
1, 2, 3.
Or Renee Michelle.
Everything will be okay, honey.
or Renee Michelle, just go ahead and take it.
How fucked up would it be if they did it during labor while she was sedated? She's giving birth.
We finally found someone that didn't want to be sedated.
So right. But you said PC world.
But I'm just saying
WWE's PC.
So you think this is killing the belt?
With the exception of what you just said,
right.
What are they supposed to do? You're gonna lay on top of a pregnant woman, or she's sleeping? You're gonna lay on top of a pregnant woman?
Or
Like, no, that shit is not gonna fly in this day and age.
I agree with you. I think them putting on the belt on Maria, me personally, I thought it was fucking genius because she's right. You know how much she can parade herself around for a little bit? You can get a couple weeks out of this. But you're obviously getting something at the OBGYN next week because there's a reason that was fucking announced.
Yep.
You know, however, had you not announced that, I felt like you could run with it for a couple weeks. Just her walking around and more people being pissed off at Mike because Mike gave her the fucking title basically, and then going off on her and calling him out. That's the reason I was thinking that
I will kick you in the vagina.
I've defended Mike Bennett this entire time about his burial.
It's Mike Kanellis.
Yeah, what the fuck ever.
Dude, he can't come back from this.
I was gonna say,
he's been emasculated
losing
so
the
bad
title to his wife by her demanding him to get down on the ground and she pins him. I think that's the nail in the coffin.
Like this whole angle is totally getting Maria over while totally burying Mike. Like, he cannot come back from
but
this.
they're getting TV
His
time,
balls
which
are
was
gone.
fine.
Dude,
but officially he's been castrated.
This really kills, to me, it kills his character.
So, Joe, you're saying this is killing his character, and especially, are you finding this as you would like to call tickle butt?
No, it's because it is actually the way they talk. I mean, it's a very realistic angle. I mean, there's plenty of couples out there where it's just like that. You know, where there's
the woman's the man.
The guy kind of maybe got a girl that's out of his league, and then when you get behind closed doors, you find out why. So that's not like a very unrealistic storyline. That's very real life to me. And honestly, the way Maria's she's fucking amazing at it. Like almost too amazing. Like maybe there's a little bit of like, real like a life
your
imitating
balls on
art,
your purse, brother,
or art imitating life here or whatever. Because it just seems to come very natural to her. But at the same time, like I said, I don't mind the angle. Like it's an entertaining angle, but to me, it kills Mike Kanellis as a wrestler.
Do you think that this is a possibility of trying to bring him down so low to where the fans get behind him and then he gets a huge pop from it? He gets a good rub from this?
Only. I mean, if he's with Maria, he's already getting some pretty good rubs, you know.
At least twice.
Right. I mean, she's fine. I mean,
Well, we don't know that the baby's hers. It could be.
No, I think
it could
the-
be Angela Dawkins. for all I know.
Fam, don't start rumors.
that shit was funny.
I will say this: the Street Profits have been really entertaining.
They have.
overall.
They have. Anyway, the only way I think that could happen is if, like, Maria somehow got her comeuppance and Mike, like, told her off or something and divorced
They
her or
get a
something.
storyline divorce. Yeah, see, that's what I thought
He'd-
this was going to play out.
That's the only way. That's the only way it would work is if he got his comeuppance on her, which would obviously end the relationship.
He just gets fed up and like.
Do you think it would? Okay, so
On TV. I don't mean in real life.
No. What I don't even think it would end a relationship on TV. I think that there's a way. I mean, just like in any situation where a dude could finally lay down his law, and then she go, "That's what I've wanted," because she's been fucking demeaning him as a dude.
And then reverse roles. He
Right.
turns in the heel, and he's just
Or
like
not even-
he's like macho to. She's now Elizabeth.
No, not even that. Then,
Come here, bitch.
Then they have.
I said I want mayonnaise on my sandwich. Sorry.
Then they have an equal relationship. Is what I'm saying. Like he doesn't have to go heel and destroy her, but coming out of where
Yeah, it is the way they got him now.
No, I don't think that at all. I think the fans will get behind, and if she ends up apologizing, well, then the fans are a little bit more sympathetic. And then if you see it play out for a couple weeks,
That's a
to
little
where-
anticlimactic. Though.
I don't-
I'd rather see something more exciting.
More like real life, like a divorce.
Yeah,
Like,
I'd
bitch,
much-
if you don't.
I'd much rather this fucking marriage end. Nick,
A
you're watching
divorce and a backhand.
This. Nick, you're watching this.
Now that would be entertaining. Tell me it wouldn't.
Fuck, it's like, I'll hit a pregnant woman. It's not my baby. You said it yourself.
Bring back Snitsky. We'll punt Maria.
Right?
Oh, wasn't my fault.
Oh my god.
All right.
then Ziggler
Okay.
comes
Okay.
out,
Okay. We're going on a tirade. Nick,
It's entertaining. Though.
you're watching this, and your thought process is it going along the lines of everything we've already talked about, or are you hoping that Mike comes back and looks more like a man?
I don't know if he can. I really don't because
That's where I'm at.
man, she's annoying as fuck.
She buried his balls.
And at first, I'm like, God, this fucking sucks. But the more and more I think about it, the more and more I think about it,
I mean, it
she's-
sucks for him.
yeah, she's doing a great job at making him look like a fucking
Piece of shit.
turd. Like, I'm gonna kick you in your vagina. Like,
It's your wife. If you don't open this door right now, I'm going to kick you straight in the vagina.
and he just handed her his balls and was like, "Yes, honey, that's fine. I will lay down." And I just think they're just going to keep burying him and burying him and burying him. Do I think it's possible what you said that the people could get behind him? It's possible, but it's either going to be that or he's going to kick her in the stomach. So
I think we'd need to go back to ECW '98 for some shit like that.
What if she
posted a
goes to
meme.
the OBGYN and they tell her she's not pregnant? And then that's when everybody like. Okay.
I mean, but she is for real,
She is
for
real,
sure.
right.
Yeah, so they can't do that, unfortunately.
Because she's just gonna keep getting bigger.
All right, let's move on to the next big fucking thing that's going on Monday Night fucking Flaw.
Monday Night Coleslaw.
I love coleslaw. Seth
It's a decent
freaking
side.
Rollins or Seth freaking Fodder. Drink, baby. I only said it to make everybody drink. No one has fucking claws to speak.
Water drinking pusses.
As he chugs.
Like Mark Henry in the beer
MGD,
bath.
motherfucker.
Seth Rollins took one hellacious beating from Brock Lesnar this week. I'd say more so on the stretcher than the fucking chairs, but either way,
Yeah, that stretcher bump was bad.
yeah, brutal.
we were asked earlier, and I said we would get to it. Seth is supposed to show up to a show in Toledo in August before SummerSlam, but after I think August 3rd. He said. I don't think that's
this
Raw.
Sunday.
I don't think that's Raw.
That's Saturday.
Saturday.
Yeah,
That's this
'cause-
weekend.
Yeah. Are we thinking that they're going to play along with the storyline and keep him away from some house shows?
I would.
Yeah.
Yep,
I absolutely.
absolutely.
If I had the pencil, I absolutely would. He wouldn't be seen in public at all.
Yeah, I was gonna say if I were them, I would
No social media, nothing.
I
Baker
would,
be lick-
I would
Baker would
have
be licking
Seth
his wounds.
off the grid until
For real.
the day off.
Yep.
Yeah.
SummerSlam.
Yep. I thought that too.
He should be careful. Some good man on
good
the
old-
Because they
Old school
mentioned
kayfabing.
they don't want. He doesn't want his medical.
Yeah, he's already came out and said that he doesn't want to reveal his
His condition.
his medical condition.
So now just radio
play along with
silence
that.
until
Yeah,
SummerSlam.
keep that going.
You believe that I'm sorry, let me rephrase this because that was going the wrong way. If he does show or he does, well, I won't say social media, let's just say he does show, let's say it's looking for a match still because that's Seth freaking Rollins, but they come out even at the house shows and say, you can't be here, you're not medically cleared, get in the back. Does that help or hurt his character? Nick?
It's tough. I think it could go either way. I think it could hurt it.
You're talking about the house show?
Yeah, if he shows up at the house show and like someone comes out from the back and says, "Dude, you're not medically cleared to be out here. You have to go in the back."
I wouldn't even do it at all. I wouldn't even know.
But let's. Seth Rollins is
a fighter.
No, not a fighter. He is scheduled to appear. You know, granted, yes, cards subject to change and so on and so forth. But you saw Seth Rollins show up at a house show, and he said he really wanted to fight, even though he was told he couldn't. He had a chair or whatever. They made him go into the back.
I think it depends if you did like one of those WWE exclusive things where like he was up on the video board and he's in the locker room and all of a sudden the ref or the trainer or somebody comes up and says, hey, this isn't going to work. That's one thing. But if he actually makes an effort, goes out to the ring, entrance music comes on, and he's ready for some kind of match, and then they come out there, I think that makes it even worse. But what these guys are saying, just fucking leave him off.
And who tells him that he can't wrestle?
That's still this
You
Saturday.
know what I mean? Like outside of Shane McMahon, who's the authority figure?
No, but this
Trainer's in the back.
This Saturday, that's still within the same week this happened, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Man, he's so fucked up. He's still in the hospital bed.
I agree. I think that's the best. I think that's the best scenario to keep him.
He's
completely
still on that gurney.
So you're watching this, and when I saw the chairs, I was like, holy shit. And then all of a sudden, Seth is spitting up blood, right?
There's a
quotes, spitting up blood.
Yeah.
He then gets onto the gurney.
that's
and-
always a tickle butt to me, the spitting up blood.
and
Because you know it's not real.
maybe. You never know. And
You got to get like shot for some shit like that.
Oh no, internal bleeding can cause it.
True. So he'd still be in a hospital bed.
But what would cause
so
internal
he goes into
bleeding?
the back.
Not
Roman's checking on him. Becky's
You
just
have to
looking.
puncture an organ, is what I'm saying.
Becky's just looking from the side after all of this stuff that they built with Seth and Becky's relationship.
that was-
now she's not paying any fuck attention.
That
to
was
the
weird,
dude,
wasn't it?
Right. Then Roman gets closer than Becky even did. Granted, maybe it was something off camera, but still. And then there's a little tussle, so on and so forth. But then they go back to him, and Brock pulls him out and fucking takes him off the stretcher in the gurney and fucking F5s his ass onto the fucking gurney. Granted,
Hellacious bump.
if you're paying real attention, you notice it wasn't so much mid, it was more side. But his side still fucking hit. and
Right
it
on his
looked
hip.
like
Yeah,
it
that looked
hurt.
bad.
How are we feeling about this feud now? Smitty, this is something that we're kind of just like, we're all kind of sick of Seth Rollins. Let's very much agree with that. No one's really saying, man, I'm really loving Seth Rollins right now. We're all like, okay, it's kind of run. Let's pull him away, put someone else in. But there's this huge fucking beatdown on Raw, Smitty. Did it add any excitement for this match at SummerSlam? Or do you think it's going to do something good for the match and the storyline? Or are you still like, I don't give a shit, but those bumps were sweet?
Part 2. Don't give a shit, but the bumps are sweet.
Okay. Joe, are you a little bit more sold on Seth versus Brock?
Yeah.
Okay. Why?
There's just a lot more intrigue now after that. That was a fucking bad beatdown. Like, bad. Like, I could have went without the coughing up blood. Like, I just think that's
Right.
silly because you know it's not real. But, I mean, that was really a brutal beatdown. It was fucking awesome other than the awkward Becky-ness of it. So, yeah, I want to see – I'm definitely more interested to see how Rollins responds to this.
Nick?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I mean,
Because I really didn't give a fuck about this match at all before, so now I give a little bit of a fuck.
Yeah, I really didn't either because I was like, okay, Brock and Seth again. But now I'm like, okay, that's a pretty good fucking beatdown. And if they play their cards right and keep him off the grid, I think that it'll play off really well. I still think it'd be nice to see Seth, obviously Brock's going to go over at SummerSlam and make way for
We don't know
somebody
that's
else.
obvious.
I feel like it is, but, what do I know? But
Z, you're thinking it's not obvious either?
Well,
Unless they want to get that title off him so they can move him to SmackDown for Fox. But there's other ways around that,
Right.
too.
the beatdown on Seth, though, I mean, all but guarantees Brock's gonna win because, I mean, he was coughing up a kidney or whatever he punctured after he hit that gurney.
his pancreas probably.
He was doing that. He was coughing up blood before when he was still in the ring.
Yeah. You could tell.
But yeah, he took that beating, and then he's supposed to go in not 100% against Brock at SummerSlam. I mean, that's the only reason why I'm like, all right, Seth might go over, because nobody believes Seth is going to go over. But, I mean, yeah, Nick might be right.
And did it put a spark into the feud for you to where?
No,
you
I still don't give a shit. I still don't give a shit about it.
Still don't give a shit.
No.
All right.
Side note on that.
Yeah.
Real quick, just Vince's last public statement on his quarterly earnings statement, whatever, with the shareholders. He says, WWE is more sophisticated than that. We're not going to do blood and guts like AEW, and I can't imagine TNT would let them do that either. And what's the first thing that he does on the first TV after that statement?
Blood and guts.
He's got people coughing up blood. Like, that's...
Well,
All right,
his
Vince.
exact quote was every match being blood and guts. He went on,
not every match in AEW is blood and guts, but
I
they
know- I know,
actually have
but
had quite a bit of it. Actually,
he
now that I think
he
of
went
it.
on to say
two
that
shut spots with blood.
if
No.
they-
Okay, hi. Let him talk.
He went on to say that if they continue to have blood and guts every week, that it's bad for business. In
I agree
general,
with that actually.
And at the rate they're going, and he said they try to be more sophisticated without the blood and guts. But also Vince, I mean,
Vince's
how-
humor is anything but
I know
sophisticated.
Vince has the final say, but now you got like Heyman putting shit together. So who's to say that was Vince's idea? Or maybe Seth fucking put a capsule in his mouth and did it on his own.
No, they didn't. He did not do that.
There's a big thing when it comes to blood, and also when Vince was talking about it, he was talking about TNT probably not allowing it due to sponsors, which is why WWE can't allow blood as often as maybe they'd like to.
There's
because
plenty of shows on TNT and USA that show blood. The reason Vince doesn't do it is because his company's publicly owned.
Right.
Facts.
Well, yeah. All right. Next.
Super kick.
Yes, actually, it was going to go and lead into the next one. Actually, is this super kick leading up to a possible Shawn Michaels return?
It better fucking be. It better be.
Yeah.
I don't think so because the
Like
TV
like
segment-
Dolph or Sean at Survivor Series or
Well,
Rumble or
'cause
something
you
like
gotta
that.
remember- So Sean even said you're a second-rate HBK. So it plays into a story because HBK has always said he was
needs
never
a
going
reason.
to. There has to be something that plays into it why he would come out of retirement. And that fucking.
The mid-TV
I've actually
segment-
heard, and I've heard Sean on
Hold on, guys.
Sorry.
So Sean had a shit match in Saudi Arabia, which was bringing him back for money. He always said he would never do it for money, but did because that made way less sense for that.
Sometimes
for
someone
him.
makes you an offer you can't refuse.
It made way less sense for him to come back for that match than to come back for something that's a storyline that's been kind of built. So if this is being built up, Sean calls Dolph a second-rate him, and then gets a super kick, and now Dolph is fucking teasing it each fucking time he's been out there. Z, you're saying you fucking hope it does, and if so, where do you want to see that happen then?
I mean, I was thinking SummerSlam.
Nope.
No, I get it, but like with it happening, so probably it's got to be one of your big four. Probably Survivor Series, maybe even the next pay-per-view. Who knows? But I think ultimately, if he does come back to face Ziggler, that means we might actually get AJ versus Shawn Michaels because he recently talked about him being open to coming back.
Who's he?
Shawn-
Pronouns, pal.
Shawn Michaels. But now see, it can't just be a blow off. Like if it was a blow off, it would have been Shawn giving him Sweet Chin Music, and that would have been the end of it. The fact that Ziggler did it to Shawn, like it's got to be an opening for something.
And like I was saying, I've heard Shawn on podcasts before when the topic of Dolph Ziggler comes up, and he has like said that like just in like conversational like shoot terminology, like yeah, he's good and all, but he's got to find his own way and kind of stop trying to be the next me, you know. Like he's said that before, like publicly, before all this storyline, before all this happened.
Do you think this brings him back?
You know, honestly,
give it a percentage factor.
Until you even asked that question, that never even crossed my mind. Honestly, I even though he came out with the mock-up tights before the Lesnar beatdown, and you know, with the music and everything, I just thought he was just still fucking with him. I guess I should be smarter than that by now. That they don't do things for no reason in wrestling. That you know, it's usually always a seed being planted.
So you think this is 100% Shawn's coming back?
No,
or
no,
what do you think
no.
percentage-wise?
Maybe a one-off.
50-50.
50-50 that he's coming back for a match with Ziggler.
Yeah.
Nick, what percentage are you at that you think this is bringing him back?
I'm going more like 75.
Okay.
I think we could see. I think right now, so we have Dolph and The Miz at SummerSlam. I think, and I'm just speculating here, I wouldn't be surprised if Shawn Michaels was in The Miz's corner. And then that could lead to something down the line, next pay-per-view, Big Four, whatever. But I definitely think there's a good possibility we could see it, and I'm all for it.
Smitty, your percentage-wise.
40%. I think it's a 40% like chance that Michaels has some like one-off. Not really exactly
Where do
come
you
back.
come up with your percentages?
Because that's the sale tonight on
Scott Steiner, man.
40% off. Smitty'sMeats.com.
No, I said 40% because like I'm like not exactly at a 50%, but I'm nowhere. I'm not nowhere near. I'm not at a 50% at all. I'm more so on a. No, it was like to a certain degree. It was just giving Dolph a good rub going into this feud with Miz.
That's kind of what I thought at first.
So why not 45%? Or how about 47.5%?
Suck my dick.
That's 0%.
That's what we call negative 10%.
Oh, you have a vagina too. All right.
It's cold.
I think that this is a 90%, but I think this is a 90% that is going to happen at Mania. I think the seeds are being planted for McIntyre versus Taker, and the seeds are being planted for Dolph versus HBK. I think HBK is going to be involved in Miz's corner? Yep. Do I think that's going to make things unsettled between Miz and Dolph Ziggler? Yep. Well, I could think that's going to continue on. Yeah.
So now, if we're going to Mania to build this, what do? Team Dolph versus Team Shawn at Survivor Series, and then have Shawn enter the Royal Rumble.
They don't do Survivor Series matches at Survivor Series anymore.
And
what do you think? Are you
eliminate
crazy?
Dolph or something like that, and then that's what leads to Mania. Like, I mean, you got time to build it, but how?
I fully agree that they should do more than a one-off. I think a one-off it's not necessary, but at the same time, that's getting Shawn back for a couple matches. Yes, Survivor Series style match where I don't know whoever's involved, very possible.
I mean, I know like Dolph has kind of like emulated Shawn's style over the years, but if we're talking about like bringing Shawn back for like dream match type
He's
scenario,
emulated DX for many years.
But if we're just talking about bringing Shawn back for like dream match type scenarios, wouldn't like 99% of people rather see him wrestle AJ than Dolph?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah,
that's 100%.
Well, yeah, of course.
But I honestly think it's going to be AJ and Shawn at Mania. If Shawn comes back, I think Ziggler's the warm up to AJ.
I don't think that'll ever happen. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
I just think that this is yes, you're right. I would love AJ versus Shawn. I'm sorry. I would have loved AJ versus Shawn. Do I think it'll be everything I want it to be? No, of course not. dude. Nothing is anymore. I think that's another one of those nostalgia pulls. We're like, sweet. Now, what we are talking about is a possible one-off match for another Hall of Famer. On SmackDown this week, Jerry the King Lawler held King's Court with Trish Stratus. Charlotte interrupted and challenged Trish to a match at SummerSlam. Trish accepted. So you now have Charlotte Flair versus Trish Stratus at SummerSlam this year. Is this going to be something that continues? No, I don't want to ask that. Is this going to be something that anyone gives a shit about? Better. Joe. Charlotte Flair, Trish Stratus. Are you like, holy shit, I give 1% of shit about this, or is it more?
It's 47.5%.
Oh, for you?
Me personally, I'm not. I don't really care that much about it. I'm sure others probably will care about it more than me, but I don't know. Trish was struggling on the mic on the King's Court badly up until the very end when she said Charlotte was acting like a bitch. So, like, when Charlotte came out, she kind of basically carried her on the mic, and then at SummerSlam, she's going to have to carry her in the ring. I mean, because Trish, let's be honest, she wasn't hired for her wrestling ability, and now she's old. So it's going to be Charlotte literally carrying this Trish through the match. And so it's not going to be some fucking Malenko versus Guerrero fucking
clinic.
You know,
Right.
it's going to be Charlotte doing the best she can to get the most out of Trish to have a passable fucking attraction of a match.
So Grant says.
So I'm not excited about it all, really.
Grant says the sad thing is it's going to be the most important women's match on the card. Do you see that as truth, Smitty?
I don't think it's true. I don't think it's the most important women's match on the card. I think it's going to be the most publicized women's match on the card.
What do you think is the most important one?
I think Becky versus Natty.
Okay. Nick.
Who's Bailey facing it?
Ember Moon.
Becky and Natty got the best storyline going in this shit.
What do you think, Nick? Where are you with this most important match?
No. I'm not interested in it at all. I got to say, Trish Stratus looks like shit. Just saying.
That's fine.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. Her fucking black eyes, saggy eyes, her fucking square boobs.
And he's right there. Why did you bring up black guy?
My bad, dude. She's like 50.
Yeah, but still. I don't know.
Angela Bassett's damn near 70, so fuck off.
Smitty's 71.
But
Black don't crack, bitches.
Continue your thought, Nick. Sorry.
It's it is just, you know, I don't know. It'll be fodder.
I don't even have any more to
I don't
drink.
either. I had to say it though.
You're saying Trish Stratus is fodder to fucking don't give a shit.
She's, you know, like Joe said, Charlotte's going to have to carry her in the ring. She's going to carry her through that match. I mean, I can't really take. Does Trish have a chance in this match? Like, seriously?
Fuck no. Her chances are 0.000 infinity zero.
Right. So then all of a sudden, if they shock you and she goes over, it's like, fuck.
I'd be pissed if they did that.
You know why I wouldn't be pissed? I actually would not be pissed. Like, just, you got two Canadians going in two high-profile matches on this card. If one of them goes over, if Charlotte takes an L, it doesn't hurt Charlotte at this point.
How does losing to Trish Stratus at SummerSlam not hurt
Charlotte's
Charlotte?
fucking Teflon.
Yeah.
Charlotte's
one of the most protected women on that. It's probably the most protected woman on that roster.
Trish is gonna get cheered like a mofo. That's her hometown.
Once again,
they're gonna come unglued for her.
Yeah, they'll come unglued for her. If Trish does pull off a W, it doesn't hurt Charlotte, and the Toronto crowd gets a pop.
I disagree. It does hurt Charlotte. She's Teflon to an extent, but
someone comes in with a metal knife.
You lose. Yeah, right. Don't touch it with a metal fork.
Don't put it in the dishwasher.
I mean, you lose to a retired person who was never really that great of a wrestler in the first place, when Charlotte is touted to be not only one of the best women's wrestlers in the company, but one of the best wrestlers, period, men or women in the company. And then she loses to a female wrestler that's 15 years past her prime and was never really that great in the first place.
You know what?
This is WWE we're talking about still.
No, he's both of those. Z and Joe are right because Charlotte hasn't done anything since the match at Mania. She's lost. It's all she done is lost since the match at Mania included. She did not win the title back. She has been off TV. She has not been featured. She comes back to lose this match. Yeah, I agree.
That's not
Dude,
true. That's not true
she's-
because she won the SmackDown Women's title before Bayley cashed in that Money in the Bank.
Going back to the town it's in, she's going to get booed so fucking hard in this match and her entrance and stuff. And she's playing a heel right now. I mean, this could really, like, she could, like, be ultra heel in this thing and just kick the shit out of Trish, pin her clean in the middle, and it would just, like, really boost her heel status.
So you're saying that it matters that she got help from Lacey Evans to win a belt that she lost 5 seconds later?
Well, you said all she's done is lose.
She's done. She
No,
has,
that was
but
your.
that's all she's done because that's a barely win. That's you got your hey, you're the 8th time champion. Now we got you a number. Here you go. Give it to Bayley.
Oh, you one of my last BDR championship runs.
Yeah.
And there's a 47% chance I won't give it to you next time either.
47.5. Actually.
So
Just like the 100% chance you never gave it to me for my last run. You piece of shit.
Times that by 2, and there's a 300% chance you can all suck my dick.
Ziner man.
Zot Ziner.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's fucking it for us. We will be watching SummerSlam at the downtown Detroit Buffalo Wild Wings, 2nd floor. We have both bars we're taking over. Prizes, giveaways, so much fucking fun. All of us will be there, except Z. And we will be having a blasty motherfucking blast. If you were there for our WrestleMania party, you want to be there for our SummerSlam party. Why? It's warmer, and we'll have a patio. And
That's
stuff
hype
and
as
stuff.
fuck, yo.
So we have both floors. No cover charge. Family friendly. Bring your fucking kids. Bring your abstinent kids. I don't give a shit. Bring whomever you want to bring. We will fucking let them sit there and drink no alcohol if they're under the age of 21. But if they're 21 and up with a valid ID, them fuckers can drink. You can drink.
We're gonna
Have
get
a
you drunk.
blasty blast. If you were there last time, we gave away a replica WWE Championship belt. We gave away
The
a Sting
Sting
signed bat. We have so much stuff, T-shirts, all that stuff. Aaron, we fucking love y'all as well. Make sure you're there. August 11th, Sunday. It all starts as soon as SummerSlam kicks off. Come to the 2nd floor. We will be there. At the same time, after SummerSlam, we will be at StarCast in Chicago, baby. Labor Day weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the day after AEW. And if you're there at StarCast, you can fucking come in and sit down. We're going to be talking to people walking around this convention. Hopefully we'll get some interviews. We'll put them all up on our YouTube. That's what we want to do. We want to talk to you if you're at StarCast. Make sure you follow us on all of our social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, fucking YouTube, at BDRcast, all of that shit. BreakingDownTheRing.com is going to be updated very soon, actually. So that being said, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for people that were tuning in on fucking Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope/Twitter. We appreciate it. We're coming live next week with our SummerSlam picks and NXT TakeOver picks. We are your ring crew.
Big Dick Bastard Smith.
Nick the Spick.
It's not yours. Take it out of your mouth. Whole effing Joe.
Z.
And me, the almighty one, Mikey himself. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you again so much for watching, and we are out.
Boo.